Very good morning to you. It's such a delight to welcome you to Global Morning today, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am your host, Priscilla Obasi, and beautifully, I'm not going to be doing this alone. I am joined by Sadia Yakubu. It's the first time we're doing this together, so I'm particularly excited. How is your weekend coming, Sadia?
Before I answer that, I think we need to settle our score. Let's settle it here before we then dive into the main business of the day. Anyways, it's nice doing this together with you. We've never done this before.
Actually,
yeah. All thanks to Global TV and Global Morning for bringing you and I together on set this morning.
It's the Global Morning Weekend edition. And I mean, it comes with all the whole, news happening during the weekend. Conversations are intensifying, particularly about the rising cost of living, the fuel high conversation. I don't know if people are already getting used to it. Nigeria, we know how to adjust.
Yes,
when it hits. So, and then, of course, the highlight of the weekend was the APC convention. And, of course, the PDP convention happening today. So, Nigerians are watching. You may think that we are not observing. The news, the events are unfolding right there on social media. Everything that happened, and somehow everybody's getting to see them. Yeah. But then I have the privilege of having you today because I know somehow you were in the whole, you were in the midst of the APC convention. Even if I'm not sure if you followed till the latter. But you are the correspondent, Ministry of Information. So you want to give us information on, what happened at your end.
As by someone coming from the ministry's angle.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning once again to all our viewers around the world. Wherever you're watching from, Sadia Yakubu is my name. As per the question you asked me now, well, from the Ministry of Information, from the Axis, I think to the best of my own ability, because I know. From the subcommittee, they decided holding meetings to
the meetings
about
the
Congress and the Congress and every other thing. It was fruitful. But then definitely we would have some lapse.
The Nigerian factor.
Yes, it must showcase. It must appear. All right. So I think the painful part of the whole thing was during the accreditation process.
Yeah.
All right, during the accreditation process for journalists to register their various media outlets, that was where the drama started. And at some point, journalists were treated like beggars. You're begging to come and cover the event. Mind you, this event, not all media houses, let me just use that word, not all media houses will be paid. You're going there to do this thing free. You understand?
Yeah.
Yes. It's not like they are giving you a huge amount of money or this is it, go and cover this event for us. Or here we are giving you live coverage. But then they treated journalists like beggars. Sorry, I will display some videos
for us to see.
Yes, for us to see so that you understand what I'm talking about. There's this particular man, all right, he's in charge of giving out the tags, media tags, right, press tags to journalists. But then it was just like we are struggling for a bag of rice. Let me just use that word, bag of rice, because anything that happens in Nigeria today, they will just bring bag of rice
to console you.
Yes, they are flood, bag of rice, accidents, bag of rice. Anything in Nigeria now is all bag of rice. So it's just like the tags were like bag of rice given out to journalists to go and eat like we are hungry.
What do you think some journalists have, I don't want to... I don't want to try to bring... I don't want to...
No. See, it's a 50-50 something. Now, you're giving out tags to large number of journalists. One person doing that is in charge of that. Hell no, it won't be possible. You definitely need more hands. One person cannot control large number of journalists. You understand?
True.
So when he was trying to coordinate the whole thing, my own people from our own parts, we are behaving like children.
Yeah.
All right, sit down and let's do this thing maturely, and then let's go and do other business. No, they will stand up and they start saying, give us, I'll play I have some videos
of
it.
You will definitely pick that up.
Yeah, so someone tried to reach out to the minister to see if there is a way they can just curtail the whole thing, but he was also busy. I mean, he already had subcommittee members, like people in charge. So why should you go and then start dragging his attention?
Yeah, everybody was, engrossed.
So to me, so that was why I said it's a 50-50 something. I'm trying to refer to that other part, and also trying to refer to some journalists. Although before I left there, I didn't lay my hand on any tag, but when I left, I got from my ministry.
Okay, the Ministry of Information.
Yes,
so when I saw that the Ministry of Information were somehow at the forefront of this event, I'm like, what concerns the Ministry of Information with APC? I mean, are we going to see them with PDP too? Are we expected to see them with ADC? Are we expected to see them with Labour Party? Or why are they at the forefront of the APC convention? Maybe you want to make sense of it. I don't know. I want to say something is not well. Right, I'm just going to be blunt and honest. It doesn't sit well at all.
Like why is our ministry for
one party? Is it becoming a one-party state? Because I mean, like I said, are we expected to see them across other political parties?
For me, so I'm saying my own now. So I'm not talking or speaking on behalf of the minister or the ministry. For me, he is a politician.
Well, that answers it all. I don't want to go into that detail. But there is a lot to talk about.
APC brought him to where he is now. So I think that's why.
Okay. If we're able to answer that, or if we decide to believe that, or if we decide to go with that narrative, or because the APC brought you into power, I mean, it still doesn't make sense to me.
Example, we have Wike.
Wike is the FCT minister, a PDP person. We did not see him in that party.
That's because he's not an APC card carrying member.
Yes,
he's not a.
Okay, the Minister of Information is an APC card carrying member.
Yes, so that's why I told you.
No, this is if he's going there as a member, it's a different thing. Do you understand? Not going with the ministry. You can go and attend the convention as an APC card carrying member, but carry the ministry along.
Wait, before you see
another meaning.
Before you see from that angle. All right, just remember the name of the ministry.
Information.
Exactly.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. Of course, okay, let's assume the Ministry of Information is important. It's important for them to be there to carry out, the activities or to help us understand, make sense of every information coming out.
Have you heard the speech of the minister? Let me not speak on his behalf. Have you heard the speech of the minister where he stated that they are members of APC?
Yes. So the ministry is member. No, the ministry is a member.
He is a member of APC.
Exactly what I'm saying.
Wike is a member of PDP. So he works under APC.
So if Wike is having his convention, he will go with the FCT.
I don't know how they do that. I don't know how they do that.
It doesn't make sense.
But so let's just leave it here.
Like I said, it doesn't make sense to me. Honestly.
Yeah, truth be told,
doesn't make sense.
Truth
because if you want to be fair, you have to carry
every other political parties along
and give us information too. It's not only APC information we want to hear. We want to hear information from.
I think I need to bring some videos so that you see the minister dressed in his APC attire, and then I believe later in the day we'll have that of Wike as well using his PDP attire. So I don't. This thing is purely politics.
We need to get to that point where we ask ourselves as Nigerians these questions. What is supposed to be the norm? What is supposed to be the standard practice? That we permit these things to happen or that we keep quiet about these things doesn't make it a standard. We need to look beyond politics, because at the end of the day, there needs to be some level of civilization into we bring to the system. But away from all of that, we're still going to be having conversations, around the whole PDP convention happening today. And particularly, I don't know what to expect, because it is clear that the PDP has been divided for a while.
Yeah.
The crisis has persisted. The Wike faction, the Makinde faction,
and every other faction.
And it makes this, we see a convention holding today. So we're asking questions like, who are part of this, who are going to be part of this very convention? Are they going to elect new leaders? And are they going to, because in the midst of this, we see Wike calling for peace and reconciliation. That has its own motive, but we don't know what to expect until the end of this convention. Like we earlier stated, the weekend has been very busy with conventions. We don't know when it will be the turn of ADC, and I think it's just by the corner. And some people particularly stated that this convention would, determine the outcome of 2027 election. Of course, it is visible to the blind. Some people already aggrieved, or they have been aggrieved. Aggravations have been building up, even in the APC before now. People that felt, people just came into this party and somehow they are more relevant than we have been there, building. At the end of this, some people also said, we're not allowed to buy forms. We had our monies, but we're not given the opportunities to purchase forms and all of that. People just came in and we're giving more attention than we have been given. So people already said, if this thing doesn't favor me, I think I'm going to leave the APC. I'll join the ADC. Then again, we also see the characteristics of our Nigerian politicians, because it's about self-interest. As much as we are pushing for better leadership and all, everybody wants to be the one to bring the better leadership. At the end of the day, they might not even bring the better leadership, but they want to be the one at the forefront that holds the mandate. Talking about better leadership. Talking about
ADC, I saw a video on social media, definitely, of the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, then Governor of Kano State Kwankwaso, and some other politicians. We have, let me just say, allegedly, that Kwankwaso.
No, it's not. I think they're all speculation.
Let me just use that word.
He's moving on Monday to ADC.
That tomorrow.
Yes.
To ADC. So you're moving from PDP, I'm coming PDP to APC, APC to PDP, PDP to NNPP, and now you're joining ADC. For what exactly? For just one ambition. That's all we say. Selfish interest. So it's not like they have. Some of them might have Nigerians at heart, but then the rider of all is themselves.
Of course. I think selfishness is a human trait. Everybody's inherently selfish, but there has to come that time when you can once in a while just remove yourself from the picture and look at the bigger cause. Because everybody cannot do it at the same time.
At all.
So it's about selecting the right person. That is why we have elections at party level, at state level, at the federal level, at local government level,
and every other level.
One person has to do it. Everybody cannot do it. So our Nigerian politicians need to sit back, look. They should spend more time, introspecting, and also spend time looking around for a candidate that is fit beyond their selfish interest. Because most of them they're looking for somebody that they will benefit from or that will be answerable to them. Do you understand? So beyond all most of the time, that's just. So if I cannot do, let me get my boy to do it so that he obeys me. And that's when we talk about autonomy. I always say that there's nothing like autonomy in Nigeria politics, because everybody's serving somebody. By the time you are able to get to power because of the people, you would do everything you can do for the people. But if you're going there because somebody brought you there, you are going to be responsible for that person. So it's not rocket science. I mean, these things are very, very clear. But those and many more are as part of what we have for you, our viewers, on the conversation today. We'll also be looking at the out of school children. One of the prominent ministers came out to say we need a certain amount of money to take children back to school. And I'm wondering, see something as if it's impossible, and I'm wondering, how did we get here? One of the things that some of this administration, some leaders in this administration will come out and say, President has done well in the education sector. He has brought about NEL Fund. He has brought about, ASU and, settlements of ASU. Even if some lecturers at this moment are still saying, ASU President was here on Global TV. He said, we have not received this money yet. But it's one of the campaigns that is being pushed. Let us hope that at least the money comes to them. So, but I'm asking questions like, okay, we have NEL Fund. Does it not take you to go through school first before you access NEL Fund? Don't you need to write JAMB? Don't you need to write work? Don't you need to get admission? The school has to even say you are a member of this university before you are even given access to NEPSPO. So how can we have strategies to locate the grassroots? How can we directly impact the grassroots? Because when they are impacted, you don't need to explain. You don't need to explain your administration too much. You don't need to explain what you have done. They already feel it. They understand what progress looks like. And those are the conversations we're going to be having today on the show. So we want to go for a very quick break right now. When we come back, the rest of the program will be here for you. Please stay with us.
Welcome back from that short break, and straight up, let's dive into the newspaper review. Let's tell you what's happening around the world, and of course, if you're informed, you won't be deformed. So, our first newspaper to start with this wonderful Sunday morning is the Tribune, a Sunday Tribune newspaper, and our lead story: the faction drama. PDP government gets tough conditions to join APC. I know you want to talk about this, but then...
But why, who is giving them the tough conditions is what I'm asking. Is it APC?
It's written.
Or is it Wiki?
I don't just know. The whole thing is confusing. Like,
the PDP members of APC. Well, it's Nigeria politics, you should expect anything from it. But
I love the caption. The faction drama. So PDP government gets tough conditions to join APC. May lose rights to pick Sasaxel. Ruling party offers sole Senate tickets. Leave supporters in limbo. Confusion.
I just knew that once the convention is over, it will be difficult to join the APC again. Anyone that has not joined before
the convention
would have it, difficult.
All right, so our next story, why we are demanding payments of withheld salaries. ASU president, what we just spoke about.
Yeah, I talked about that.
Says TED fund should stop throwing money away by funding centers of excellence.
ASU president is a very... I don't know. He's an interesting personality, if you ask me. He's one of the persons that has been at the forefront of speaking, and whenever he speaks, you just have to listen. So, I've seen him several at TED Fund, and most times when he comes up, people are just what do we expect? What do you have in us today? And like I said, I mentioned this coincidentally. We talked about this just before this came up. The ASU president has come on live television here on Global TV, and he said, you people have promised us. You are even using it to do campaign. Can you people pay this money? So what is holding the federal government from giving these guys this money? Why are you pushing the narrative that we have settled ASU? There's nothing like strikes again. Tomorrow, if ASU decides to go on strike, it's going to be a shame. I tell you, people of this administration. Because of everything I've said.
And government has cleared these people. They've paid this. So why are they going on strike? So they are going on strike because of their own personal gains. And then, whereas it's the opposite. So, alright, let's move on. Our next story, bandits ambush kill 20 security personnel, vigilance group members in Plateau, and that's on page 2 of the Sunday Tribune newspaper. Ignore purported dissolution of Ogun Ekiti, Ondo escorts Turaki led a PDP tells members. Page 27. IGP applauds journalists, seeks stronger police-media relationship. And that's on page 4. Anxiety over brother Shaggy's whereabouts as police refutes shooting reports. Tinubu hasty in signing Amendment Electoral Act into law. Right? And that's on page 14. Okoye, ex-INEC commissioner, says mass killed integrity, effectiveness of new electoral law. Economic hardship, stop inciting Nigerians against Tinubu's administration. APC cautions ADC, and that's on page 2. And that's all for me from the Sunday Tribune newspaper.
Thank you very much, Sadia. We did go, our next point of call now will be the Sunday Independent, and we're starting with the first story above the name, please. Sunday Independent seems to be scanty with stories, but let's take the few we have. Political parties edge over INEC's guidelines for 2027 polls. Details right there on page 2. Next story, Nigerians decry absence of buffers against Iran war fallouts. A lot is happening in the country, and somehow we are forgetting that there is an ongoing crisis.
Yeah.
Although it's still affecting us, but as we say, we have a way of just moving on and adjusting. I think it's a human thing. That detail is right there on page 3. Next story is PDP convention will hold as reconciliation continues.
So you see, as if we even knew about all these details that we are now bringing them and then coming across the dailies as well.
They are
the riders,
the happenings of the weekend. But it is an interesting weekend.
Definitely,
it is an interesting weekend. Part of the APC convention, or part of the events that unfolded with the APC convention, is the fact that we had some guys sleep on the streets. People are like, how do you travel all the way from your states?
Yeah.
My concern is that they are even able to go back, because for some of them it's a Japa
syndrome.
Some people go abroad. Some people are coming from, states and they feel like, I'm in the city. Let me Japa. But we hope we don't have a news that's created from all of this.
Yeah.
Because you need to ensure that you count the people that came with you.
Yes, and count them you're going back.
with. Please, we don't want any form of nuisance. And if they say they want to stay in Abuja, of course, nobody is stopping them. But let it be that they have a means of livelihood. They're not coming to add to, the existing beggars on the street or existing crimes. Because somehow the human nature has it that you will survive by a crook.
Yeah.
So we don't want all of that incident, after the whole political jamboree. Well, those are the headlines for the Sunday Independent, and next point of call will be Sunday Vanguard.
Sunday Vanguard. Sunday Vanguard is just the same as the Independent. All right, we have double tragedy. Nigerians' ration power hustle from fuel as petrol price hits 1,500 per litre. A common man adopts desperate measures. That's on page
1,500 naira per litre.
Yeah.
1,500 naira per litre.
This is Nigeria, my country.
This is a big
one. Yeah.
A big blow, and you will see part of the results.
Yeah.
As the week progresses.
I hope so ministries, departments, and agencies won't suffer this, because for someone like me that will use a dog, paying 200, 300,
you don't have to fall your hand on
No, I'm talking about on behalf of other people. Definitely, we have other people using a loan to go to their various offices. So that's why I said for persons like me, now how do we go about it?
And I feel like this is an opportunity for, when we talk about development and defending this current administration, one thing I think they have failed to do is directly impact the grassroots. Again, I say, you are talking about snail fund. You are not talking about taking children out of the streets into the classroom. Now we have few situations. I mean, will you not be happy to come out of your streets to see that there's one CNG bus that is half the price of what the normal transporter will take, and this CNG bus is powered by Tinubu, for example, or the Ministry of Transportation. If someone comes to tell you that, oh, this administration has been wonderful, would you doubt it?
No.
Even if you have not seen food to eat, at least you've seen something. Yeah. You're able to say, oh, these guys are trying. They have done this because it has directly impacted you. So they need to look for ways to locate the grassroots. They need to look for, measures. I don't know what they want to do, but this is an opportunity to prove. When you have elections coming up, you don't come and say, we are going to do this again. When you have been given 4 years to do something, and you have not done it.
Nigeria, my country. Please let's continue with our stories before we move to other segment. All right, Chronicles of Cancer Survivors 2027 will be Konkoso potential tickets inspires hope as Tinubu tightens grip. PDP fragile truce, if I'm correct. Convention goes ahead despite court threats. Wiki camp. Abuja landlord. Then we have a picture story down there of our president, reform at 74. Tampolo celebrates President Tinubu's courage, results, and the other others. That's a picture story, and it's a happy birthday to the president. Still have, I think, a last story for the day. That's the Guardian weekend edition, the Guardian newspaper, and our picture, our lead story. Happy 74th birthday to our president. Yeah, today is the president's birthday as well. Today? Yeah.
Oh,
it's a birthday. It's a birthday Sunday for President 001 of Nigeria.
Oh, such a coincidence. I'm sure they celebrated him at the
convention. I think they use the convention stuff to wish him a happy birthday, because how many states do we have?
33 APC. I think we have 33 according to what I had, right?
So that's a happy birthday gift to Mr. President. Out of 36 states plus FCT, we have 33 states who are all APC members, and then we have some of these people. Some of the state governors they came from other party. All right, they decamped to APC. So I think for me, that's a big HBD. Happy birthday to Mr. President. We wish him long life and prosperity and Allah's guidance. I think that's just the major thing. APC governors resounding victory in 2027 polls. The Guardian newspaper.
Okay, so the next point of course,
the Guardian newspaper.
And it also has a picture story of our dear president. Happy birthday,
happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. So we don't need to ask him how old is he now, since you have seen the age.
74th birthday. We wish you renewed hope.
Yeah, renewed hope agenda. So we wish you a renewed hope birthday.
Okay, so let's go to other stories. First story above the nameplates: with Tinubu in power, change is not possible in 2027. That's coming from Chris Christian. We want to find out who this audacious person is by checking page 42 of the Guardian newspaper. On page 44, we have integration of Tinubu's renewed hope agenda with national development plan will improve living standards, and that's coming from Ibesu. Before Tinubu leaves northern elites behind too. That means there was a part 1 somewhere. You want to read up part 2 on page the back page of the Guardian newspaper. APC governors resounding victory in 2027 polls, and that detail is right there on page 2. Those are your headlines for the Guardian. Next point of call is the Sunday Times, and
I think that's the last for today. The Sunday Times. Speaker wants Tinubu to rule beyond 2027. Lobbies president, governors on re-election of House members. And then we have a picture story with a prominent a famous Nollywood star and her husband and a few friends, and we have an injury update, sports. I will still be rich without football, Victor Osimhen. Sometimes the way he talks, I wonder if... All right,
there are footballers that are going into music now. I think I saw one.
Really?
Alex Iwobi. Yes.
Yeah.
I saw him singing.
As a musician.
Yes. Like, wow. If football money no pay, but music money no pay.
Well, let's quickly take some other stories before we wrap it up and then go to the next segment. FCT records 16,000 TB cases, tuberculosis cases, as treatment success hits at 94%. Burna Boy Entertainment, Burna Boy, the rise and records of Africa's Afrobeat star. So from me, that's all we have for today on the newspaper review segment. So in case you want to get any details, full details of any of the headlines, all right, you can just grab a copy of any of the dailies.
It's important to let you know that every of the story published by the various newspaper companies. Global Television does not add or reduce to those details. So our next point of call right now will be the first conversation for you today. Please don't go anywhere. Global Morning continues shortly.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
At Witchtech Cables, we don't just make cables, we deliver excellence. Our products are built with advanced technology, trusted for their unmatched quality and durability. With a wide range of cables, swift delivery, and continuous innovation, we stay ahead of the market demand. We are proudly Nigerian, fully indigenous, yet world-class. Backed by a professional team, strong technical support, and a deep commitment to customer satisfaction. Witchtech Cables is more than a brand, it's a promise. Witchtech Cables, quality cables, better than the best.
Our language, our vibrant culture and colorful tradition, our industrious and hospitable people. This is Nigeria, a nation that prides itself in abundant human and natural resources. From east to west, north to south, we sparkle, we shine, we have a common bond. Fellow Nigerians, let's do away with ethnic, religious, and regional sentiments that divide us as a people. God has blessed us and empowered us to find strength in diversity. Let's make our faith and way of worship our source of unity as we build our nation that stays united. Nigeria, together today, together always. This is a public announcement brought to you by Global Television.
Thank you very much for still being here with us. Nigeria's political landscape, is still evolving with the People's Democratic Party, having its Congress today. The weekend has been filled with political activity generally, from the APC convention to the PDP, which is supposed to happen today. I understood that it was meant to happen yesterday. It was, for some reason, it was scheduled or rescheduled for today. But, it is an interesting one because I am particularly looking forward to a lot. especially with the current realities of the party being divided into two factions. Wike is still going ahead to say, oh, regardless of the reconciliation process, we will still have our convention. And what does this mean? Does it mean that we'll have other party members or other faction members attend this? Which, I honestly doubt. But then we're here with our senior anchor, and he is, he has been following up with the PDP happenings, the PDP convention, and I want to believe he was also there yesterday. He will be there today to, see through everything happening. But we want to hear from him. How far has it been going? What do you want to say? What do you think? What do you foresee to happen at the end of this convention today? Already, they're already, in preparation, people already at the venue, trying to, settle in and all of that. Have you gone there? Have you seen things unfold? What are you anticipating at the end of
great. First of all, it's good to see you, Priscilla. I think it's a big day for the PDP, for whatever it's worth, quite frankly, because in the end, the PDP is trying to say, look, we may be down, but we are not out. Whether Nigerians are buying that or not, I'm not so certain, all right? But what we're also saying is a house divided against itself. Oh, yeah. That much we have said here repeatedly. How the PDP has been able to manage is even difficult to say the PDP now, because you're not so sure which faction you're referring to. All right, but if we're to go by the last court judgment, the Wike faction is more recognized by law now. So we can say the Wike faction is the de jure PDP, as they say in Latin. But that said, the convention holds today, all else equal. As it stands right now, the convention will stand, courtesy of Mr. Nyesom Wike, Minister of the FCT, is going forward. Now, this decision is not something that the Turaki-led faction is buying. Of course, that's where you have the likes of Governors Seyi Makinde for your state and his counterparts in Bauchi States, Bala Mohammed. And both of them have said, look, we're not party to this arrangement about convention and what have you. Now, further down the line, it has also split the state chairman of the party. For example, in my home state, Edo, Dr. Anthony Azigbemi, who is the chairman of the party in Edo State, as well as the chairman of the, if you like, Association of PDP state chairman, has said that they are not interested. In fact, he categorically said it is illegal for a faction of the PDP, apparently led by Mr. Wike, to be putting together a convention. In light of the fact that apparently there's an appeal, of course, against the last judgment, and as such, it is sheer legality for you to say you are holding a convention when there's a matter pending in court. As a matter of fact, the PDP has become a subject of litigation. Therefore, it is gross anomaly for you to be having holding the convention. But again, what that simply means is that these chairmen are not on the same page. For example, Edo and Sokoto chapters of the party, at least on account of the statements that have been put out by the chairman, have said we're not party to it. Sokoto categorically says we are neutral about it, but we're not participating. However, states like Kwara, KB say that, I mean, come on, it's our party, we are going for convention. All right, so it just shows to you that the convention again has even become basis for further splits within the party. Again, like I asked one of our guests in the course of the week that was, how the PDP will emerge from this is not something we are so sure of. But we'll wait till Monday morning.
Some of the members of the PDP, I think the other state's reconciliation chairman, one of his, speaking to him, on this same issue at some point, he said it was not a good thing for the PDP to first of all go for a convention in the first place with the whole crisis that was pending in the party. It was not a good idea, and whatever came out of it should not be considered.
That was one in Ibadan last year.
Yes, the one that held in Ibadan last year, and then we are seeing a repeat of this. The party is not yet in peace. We are still seeing we can say, I think regardless, I'm going for a convention.
We'll deal with reconciliation after convention.
I want to consider things like, okay, the elections are closed, 2027 is just by the corner, and there's no time. You need to make all the decisions. But at the same time, as you say, a house divided by itself, against itself rather, cannot stand. So what is the hope that at the end of the day, this would bring some sort of reconciliation when already the convention itself is already splitting the party further and further apart?
I think it comes with mixed feelings, and the issues are not so straightforward. The PDP looks like it has too many interests that are conflicting against themselves. It appears there are those who deliberately want to undermine the party to prove a point. Whatever that point is, we are not clear on. And then there's the impression that there's another, if you like, block within the party that won't seek to survive. I mean, not smell of the smoke, as they say, after all of this. So it's now a clash of whose interest will ultimately exactly stand. That's where we are today. It has become a party of Wike, in some sense, because Wike seems to be the maverick, as I say, of the PDP or even Nigerian politics in contemporary times. I mean, we've seen that in the last few years, for example. So Wike, by some people, is now more, I mean, by some assessment, it's not like Donald Trump in the Republican Party. So it seems he owns the party. Wike is a strong influence of the party. Even the Turaki left faction knows that much. So nobody wants to live in denial about that. But the problem again is, the PDP appears to have lived in denial over many issues, especially after the 2023 election, of course, following the primaries and things like that. So Wike, many people say, has an axe to grind with the party because of the way it was treated by Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, because he feels betrayed, that's what they say. But the question is, what took the PDP so long to resolve all of these issues? For example, for a party that already knew from the ground up we were in the opposition, what were you doing after the election? Wasn't there at least one person who could have taken the initiative to say, let's put our act together, because there are elections in front of us. We can't kill ourselves over what is past. The APC has won. What do we do to strengthen ourselves from within and ensure that we are at an advantage position going into subsequent elections? Instead, it became one fight after another, the G7, G5, and G whatever. But we don't know how many persons are in that G anymore now. At least we know for a fact that Governor Sheinback India has left that bracket. The PDP has now recovered from all of the conflicts that it encountered going into 2023 general election. And that has now become basis on the final notes to say, will the PDP even survive, hold up long enough to stand for election in 2027?
I mean, if I were to sit with a Wike right now, ask what exactly do you want? Because I think if you ask why this lingered for this long, or why it took so long, I don't think anyone saw this coming. The position that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, our dear president, eventually gave to Wike is part of the reasons why this whole thing escalated. There was the PDP would have thought that Wike is just one of those noisemakers. I mean, he's so he was really underrated in the party until he became the FCT chairman, and he was given some sort of autonomy. I mean, autonomy. So that gives him the power. That puts him at advantage, and he has used that power to determine a lot in the party, maybe to get some members on his side, maybe to, you understand, just get the faction he has to himself right now, because I mean, we're talking about our Nigerian politicians. Everybody wants to come to the winning team, and as far as I'm concerned, Wike is in the winning team.
He holds the aces.
So the question I'm asking, I keep asking, is what exactly does Wike want?
You see, one thing you can't take away from him, no matter how, what side of the divide you stand on, is that he has been very unequivocal as to what he wants. He says he wants the PDP to be knitted together again. I know people don't take him seriously.
But that is coming in recent times, right? Right. That's coming in recent times. Yeah. I mean, the reason why you were at loggerheads with your party members was the fact that you guys sidelined me when it was presidential. You guys gave it to someone else. They're not campaigning. So
I've got to take my part of it.
You are not campaigning for presidency come 2027.
And he has made clear that he's going to support
this guy again. Yes. So I mean, can't you at least you've been compensated with the FCT minister? At this point, it's not okay to say let's let the grievances aside. Let's keep it aside. Priscilla,
I'll just share my thoughts with you very organically at this point, right? I think the PDP will have one or two outcomes if they want to be serious about surrounding their party. As it stands right now, unless the dynamics fundamentally change, and that has to happen very radically, and it has to happen very fast. I mean, fast enough, given that election is months away. It will have to pick one of two things. Either to align with Wike. I mean, count your losses, as they say. What else? Just compromises, all right? Join Wike, move the party forward, whatever that means. The second option they have, there's no third option if you ask me, even if there is, I don't know what that is to say, look, on our honor, we're not going to align with years of Wike. Therefore, we're going to lead the party for him. We've seen people do that with the PDP. People like former Vice President Atiku, they love the PDP. We've seen many people leave the PDP. I mean, big wigs, founding members of the PDP. They've left the PDP for ADC. Some of them have gone neutral. They are not affiliated with any political party. So that's what I think the other faction, the Turaki left faction, stands to do. Pick one of those two options. As bitter as it sounds, that's what it is. Because whether you like it or not, the party now belongs to Wike by way of influence, by way of resources, and what have you. Wike has aligned. I mean, this is a bit unconventional. It's a bit historical. Wike has aligned with the APC. Yes, you may have a block or blocks within the APC that may not like his guts, but he's the president's guy now, so to speak. So that means a lot, and the PDP knows it. I mean, the other faction, they know that much. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep complaining and whining, or are you going to count your losses? I mean, dust it off, shake it off as a man, and decide what you want to do going into 2027? Because it's too late to play blame games now. And the earlier the Turaki-led faction understands that, the better. As it stands today, like I mentioned, Wike holds the aces. So will the other faction go along with the ADC? Are they going to explore the possibility of setting up or registering a new party, or align with a different party altogether? I think people can make this choice very early on. And we've seen even people from the APC moving to join the ADC as well. And by the way, on Monday, all else equal, former governor of Kano State, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, is joining the ADC with his base, I mean the Kwankwasia movement. All right? So these are gentlemen who know that there's no time to play games. You've got to decide, and that decision must be taken as early as possible.
Okay, so I am also, particularly concerned about the fact, I know that one of the concerns that most, or the other faction of PDP would have is you are working for the APC. Does it mean that when we come into this party, we're going to also work with, it is politics. Am I going to work with the APC because Wike is,
Does he have to cut the shot for us?
Exactly.
Does he have to compel all of us to work against our will?
Against our will. Because he is the owner of the party, in quotes.
Right.
As you say. So,
the landlord.
The landlord of the party. So, we're expecting, I know somehow these guys are expecting big wigs in the party, maybe the founding members to come out, and people like Goodluck Jonathan, Obasanjo, and they have been quiet. Those guys have been quiet as if they are not even in the party. They are still
of course, former President Obasanjo had left the party. We saw him tear his card many years ago. So
he's nowhere.
He's an elder statesman.
He's an elder statesman. Yes. But it's an opportunity to lend your voice and say, okay, can we have this, or can even from a distance, the open letters that used to happen there?
No, I don't want to think his ink got exhausted. But I think it's a question of re-strategizing. What he does now is he interfaces with them individually. They come to visit him in his hometown, home, and then he interacts with them, sometimes behind closed doors, away from the prying eyes of journalists and things like that. I'm very sure the former president still wields a lot of influence at whatever level. But I think we now have a different crop of politicians who are playing the game by a different set of rules altogether. But I don't think this is so much about Obasanjo and Goodluck Jonathan as it is about those who are in the saddle now. It's their time, all right, to shape history one way or another. But if this is how the PDP wants to shape history, especially from the side of opposition, it's a big show.
It just puts down the whole legacy that these guys had built with the People's Democratic Party, and whatever comes out of it still finds a way of rubbing off on them.
Right. And it's also instructive to mention, Priscilla, that from what we hear, from what we have observed, and from those we talk to every now and then, it is apparent that the APC doesn't see the PDP so much as an opposition. So for the APC, if we've got to tackle the opposition politically, it's got to be the ADC. So I think that should be a jolting moment for the PDP. Whether they are seeing that or not is what we need to see in the course of this
I'm sure if you ask the other faction, they are concerned.
Right.
But the weakest faction that clearly says we are with the president.
Yes.
Why should they see them?
So they are home and chilling.
Exactly. So it shouldn't be a concern when you say these guys, I'm with them. It doesn't matter. They are not an opposition.
I think what the PDP also needs to focus on, and this is not me trying to sell a strategy to them, is to realize that Wike is more focused on 2031, that is looking at 2027. Wike is several steps ahead of them. So the PDP pathetically is playing catch up. The Turaki-led faction. Wike is now the rainbow coalition, if you like, propellant. So he's the guy who feels like, look, 2027 is in the bag already. I don't know why you guys are still breaking the sweat over it. We're now looking at 2031. So for 2027, President Bola Tinubu is returning unopposed. He's going to win by a landslide. Therefore, don't even waste your energy. Let's begin to think about 2021. And that's why he has said that the PDP will not field the candidate in 2027. And the Turaki-led faction is buying all of that. But the Wike end of it really doesn't care much. Therefore, for Wike, this 2027 is not our election. You can do that at the sub-national levels, we understand, governorship and what have you. But for the presidency, it is President Tinubu or President Tinubu, and for him, that's end of story.
So it now, speaks to, the character of our politicians. Would you fold your hands and allow Wike to fight for the party just to become a president or to pursue a presidential ambition come 2031? Because ultimately, if you say we're going to support you, what happens when 2031? You want to be the president? No, I will be the president.
Or the vice president.
The vice president. Do you understand? So it's a game of, fighting selfish interests.
Can I ask a question? Who else is not selfish in the party? And let's also look at that. This is not trying to endorse whatever it is Wike is doing. We have seen his excesses as a politician, whether when he was governor in River State or now he's the FCT minister. But the thing is, whatever Wike is manifesting today, it is characteristic of politicians generally across political parties. He's appropriately a bit over the top. It may be more bullish than the average Nigerian politician. But again, it isn't more about who has what advantage. The advantage he has is what he's using right now. All right? The question is, do we as a country have the system, have the structure, have the resources to rein him in? That's what the challenge is. That's number one. Number two is, all of those people criticizing years of Wike, whether in the PDP or outside of it, would they not do the same or worse if they had the access, if they had the resources? I'm just curious. And then lastly, you ask yourself, where are those people we have always referred to as the founding fathers of the PDP, the body judges, for example? Where are they? Why is it that former President Goodluck Jonathan, a man who has been with the party from the ground up, the party has given him platform time and again, right from Bayelsa State at the local government level? Why is he not speaking up? I asked the same question. PDP people tell me, well, the man was betrayed in 2015. Okay, so where are the other leaders of the party, those who are on the board of trustees of the PDP, those who were groomed, for example, by the late Anthony Aneni, or Aneni's of this world, and so on and so forth? Where are they? What effort are they making to shape or reshape the PDP? Are they watching the PDP to slip through their fingers? Well, that's already slipped. But the question is, what could they have done differently that they didn't do? Everybody must be assessed, so we can't focus and be obsessed with a Wike where other leaders of the party are there doing next to nothing about it. Where were they in any case when Wike rose through the ranks to become the influence that he is today? So for me, I think those are the issues we must interrogate going into the future. Okay,
well, for me, one last one. The APC convention had the Ministry of Information gather its members. And I was looking at that and wondering, when did the Ministry of Information, I mean, you can say the minister is an APC member.
Right, which is understandable. It's a political appointment. Exactly. The can't carry member of the APC.
He can as well just take his, uniform, wear it, and wear it.
Put on his sash.
Yes, and go there and attend. Why do you have to carry the ministry to the APC? Are we expecting the same for Wike? Wike brings the FCT.
Yeah, these are civil service. These are supposed to be apolitical, as you say, and no partisanship whatsoever.
I'm telling you, and then we're having this thing that we're saying it's norm because the Minister of Information comes out and says, I'm an APC person, and Wike is also a PDP person. So when did it become a norm for ministries to carry their ministry to political events and go there and use the ministry
as brand ambassadors
and campaign with the ministry for an existing government? How did we get here?
You see, I can't sit here and pride myself in saying I can tell you how we got here. But what I do know is they say when you do the wrong things long enough, they become normal. So at that point, nobody is bothered anymore because it has become a second nature of some kind. I mean, I come from a state where at a point, I saw senior civil servants, I'm talking about assistant directors, permanent secretaries, all right, wearing the insignia of the party at the time. All right, all of them wearing the t-shirts and the baseball hats branded by the party with the picture of the governor at the time. And people normalized it. And some people said, look, whether you like it or not, the governor is quote-unquote the employer of the civil servants. And you're supposed to serve the interest of your employer. This was the governor running for second term at the time, my home state. So when it comes to this instant case you mentioned, I mean, this instant incident that you just highlighted, you are asking yourself, as we say in Pidgin Parlance today, then the question is, even if we have done it for 100 years, does it make it right? Can we not commonsensically distinguish between politics, partisanship, and what's supposed to be core civil service, no matter what government is in power? Because tomorrow, things can flip. So everybody begins to support the government in power at that point in time. But again, that's what happens when poverty moves from the pockets into the mind. So it means we have much more work to do.
Oh, thank you very much. And I guess we'll have to leave it here. I mean, you have to go and catch up with the event happening today and bring us the updates. But we'll leave it for now until we get more updates. I want to say thank you to
always my pleasure, Priscilla,
for being here. And Global Morning continues shortly. Next point of call will be speaking to an education correspondent as we talk about the out of school children and inclusive education. Please stay with us.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On Global Television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust a multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
Global TV News, accurate and unbiased. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe. Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
All right, thank you very much for still being here with us. Right now, we dive to a very important conversation, talking about the out of school children, and very, very vital if you ask me, because as they say, children are the leaders of tomorrow. And when we keep saying they are the leaders of tomorrow, and we fail to give them the barest, equip them with the capacity, everything they need to eventually lead tomorrow, what does that make us? A failed nation, if you ask me. We want to have this conversation on inclusive education and the out of school children, taking them back into the classroom. And we're not doing it alone. I have an education correspondent virtually, of course, speaking to us, Nafisa. She's going to be here to help us understand what it takes, what the whole situation is about, the exact modalities needed to take children back to the classroom. We're talking about this because 2027 is by the corner. And one of the things that the president or this current administration has told us or has campaigned with is the fact that they have looked into the education sector. They've been able to contribute their own quota. So maybe this is that very aspect we want to also table to them so that they understand that at the grassroots level, this is one of the ways to actually impact them. So I'm joined by education correspondent Nafisa. You're welcome, ma'am, to the conversation.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning. Welcome to Global Morning. Okay, let me just go straight to what we have today. When we say out of school children, what does it truly look like, for the everyday Nigerian community? I wanted to help us paint that picture. If you have at some point interacted with them, if you have at some point intersected with, people from that class, what would you describe out of school children in Nigeria today as?
Okay, so when we say out of school children, it's not just the statistics, it's that child you see on the traffic, okay, selling pure water. When we say out of school children, is that child you see roaming the streets? Is that child you see begging? And is that child you see sitting at home doing nothing? So it's not just about the statistics, it's about the realities, the children we see. And when we say out of school children, it means children who are supposed to be in their various schools at home doing nothing, or doing some of the things I just mentioned earlier.
Not every child has to go to school. There are people that do not have head for book, according to what some people would say. Do you think that we can allow some children? It's important to just follow children according to their needs. Are there situations where we would say we can exclude children from education?
Well, like the popular say, school na scam. School no be scam. Like, every child needs basic education. Okay, maybe if we want to say after the secondary school, like here in Africa, or let's say in Nigeria particularly, it's certificates over skills. You need to have certificates to be able to do a lot of things you want to do. Even if you're not going to work with your certificates, education will really, really reflect on whatever it is you're doing. So talk, for example, someone who is not very, very good in their academics and has decided to go for vocational skill. It's going to be a plus when he or she is able to communicate with their customers, is able to put some concepts into branding. So education is very, very important. Yes, we know some may not work with it, but it's something every child should have access to.
Administration, I don't know if in any way you have seen efforts, to take children back to the classroom. Recently, one of the prominent, ministers came out to say, "Oh, we need a certain amount of money to be able to, take them back to the classroom," and ultimately making it look impossible. Do you think, if you were to advise the federal government, I'll ask this before my colleague jumps in, but if you're to advise the federal government, one of the things they talk about with this administration is that to an extent they have paid attention to the education sector. They have brought about NEL Fund. They have tried to be in agreement with ASU, an agreement that has lingered for years. Even if when you ask ASU, they would say they have not really seen all of that materialize, even if they've signed agreements. But at least it's an effort to sign that agreement. We're waiting for the latter end of that. But I ask myself questions like, when you talk about NEL Fund, this is something that's accessible to people that can even go through the primary, secondary, write WAEC, write JAM, write the NECO, and eventually get into university. Yes, it's a good thing, but you have not clearly, reached out to some people that cannot afford education. Some people that are, that decides to leave school because their parents do not have money to take them or to train them in school. If you are able to access, if you are able to cater to the needs of the grassroots, I'm not saying those universities are not part of the grassroots, but there's a foundational level to this thing. So if you were to meet with this administration or maybe the Minister of Education in tackling out-of-school children, what would you advise?
Okay, so I was reading something about the recent research. I don't know how recent, maybe last year or 2 years. It's really alarming that Nigeria currently has about 18 to 20 million out-of-school children. That means 1 in every 5 out-of-school children globally. It's really, really alarming, and it is something that Ministry of Education should be doing something about it. So if I have opportunity to have a meeting or be in a conference with the ministry, what I'll be talking about is going back to the grassroots, just like you've said. The foundational stage is very, very, very important. Once we get it right in the foundation stage, like offering access to quality and quantitative education for the early years. Once they have that foundation, once it is solid, those children will want to go, and it has to be a kind of education where all the structures is put in place. Like, for example, I'll take some states. I'm not going to be mentioning some states. Some states in the West have really imbibed in this free education by even adding incentives to make these children want to come to school, like free health, free food, and training the teachers to ensure that they are able to tap into what those learners will be needing. I'm also going to niche down to a particular local government here in Lagos State, where we have a school that is run by the LCDA, and it has been in existence close to 8 to 9 years now. It's a free education. So everything that a child needs, it's free. The only thing the child needs to do is just to pass the entrance examination. Once the child is qualified, you're rest assured that everything that the child will be needing, school uniform, school textbooks, exercise book, everything that a child needs, so that there's no excuse, because it's not just about providing free education. It's not about bringing all these policies, bringing huge amount of money. It's about ensuring that we provide these children and the parent, because poverty is one of the major factors that has really led into this huge amount of out-of-school children. Aside what we have, the insecurity issues, then advocacy. Advocacy is very important. So the ministry has a lot to do with the grassroots, ensuring that the first foundation of a child, the early years, is solid. Once it is solid, and those children, in fact, we've seen cases where even when the parents are saying, no, go to school again, the children say, no, I want to go to school, I want to become this, I want to become that, because education has become part and parcel of them. So it's very important that it's not just about bringing out huge policies, huge amount of money, but also looking at the realities of what will suit the realities of those children.
All right, so good morning, Nafisat Abdulrazak. And I have just a few questions for you. So how has insecurity and displacement contribute to children being out of school?
we all know that over 100 of schools with the advent of this insecurity, and the federal government really needs to take drastic action, like serious action, to providing security. For even the teachers are scared, you never can say what is going on. You can be in the school today and the next day everywhere is not safe. So we need to use community leaders, sanitization of community leaders, advocacy, letting them know, and also use technology. Technology is very important. I know it can be a capital intensive, but we have even children who have never been to school are very intelligent these days, with the use of technology or use of radio, they can learn. I think we had that during COVID-19, where children were learning through radio and internet. And the parents can also learn too. It's something that can be done to keep those children safe at home. I know sometimes people will say even the homes are not safe, but at least wherever is it they had, children will have access to learning if we use technology to make children learn. If it is morning, and then there are a lot of other areas that we can look into, providing worksheets, textbooks that can help children learn on their own. I just hope that these things will be looked into, because it's really alarming, and every day everyone is scared of going back to school because we never can say what will happen the next day.
When we also talk about out of school, sometimes we neglect the fact that there are people in school who are out of school. If you go to the government schools, some of them try to, you see them jumping windows, jumping every kind of barricades that wants to restrict them into that classroom and try to escape. There are children that just look for a way out when you eventually want to enclose them, and for them it doesn't work. And maybe part of the reasons they give is maybe they don't have teachers that are up to the task of keeping them, because most of those government schools, you see students bullying teachers. It happens a lot. And these teachers at some point become powerless and allow the students to do whatever they want to do. So you see them escaping school. They have been paid, their school fees have been paid for by parents, but somehow they run away and they're out of school even if they're in school. So how do we tackle that kind of menace of children, parents that put in the effort, government facilities or government agencies that put in that effort to put children in school, but somehow they don't want to stay there? Is it a problem of the staff members, the civil servants, the teachers that are in that environment, the school leaders that are in that environment? Who do we apportion this blame to?
Okay, so I'm not going to apportion any blame to anyone, because all hands has to be on deck in this kind of situation. Just like the topic implies, inclusive education. Every learners have different ways of learning. It's just about understanding what makes a child learn, how a child learns. So when I was reading through, I was just thinking, how many teachers even understand most of the learners that they take? How many teachers, so firstly, the school, the children are already in the school. The school has to understand how those children learn. Even sometimes, most of these children that we say are very difficult and are jumping through the fence and making trouble, they're just calling our attention. Some of them, if studies have shown that some of them are probably going through mental issues, emotional issues, secondary school, they are adolescents, they are having hormonal changes, everything is upon them. So they're seeking attention. So it depends on a teacher who understands how to tap into all those learners to understand what they truly need. You will realize that no matter how stubborn we call some of these children, there's just a teacher that will understand, or there's a teacher they will always stay to listen to their to listen to them when they talk, you get. So it's all about learning and understanding what makes them tick. So now, for parents too, the parents are also supposed to understand the kind of children they have. So you cannot have a child who is still struggling, who is a late bloomer, going to a very, very academic school where the only thing they think about is academics. They don't have extracurricular activities that will be like a soft landing for the child. So the child is not feeling like, oh, the only thing I've come to do in this school is just to learn. Or when we talk about inclusive, we have a lot of learning disabilities for children who are struggling with dyslexia, dyscalculia. We have a lot of the learning disabilities that children struggle with. I mentioned about mental issues, which we've not even talked about, which are, so children are struggling with a lot of things, and then we bundle them with a lot of academic things. They'll definitely look for ways to tap out. And the attention span of the learners we have these days, it's so small, unlike back in those days. And they're not scared, you get. So yes, back in our days, we used to have children too who were not ready to stay in the class. But there's definitely something that they will be interested in. And that is why we should have all aspects of education for our children, the vocational skills. You see, some children will do well when it is time for sports. We had those times back in those days, we have clubs, we have press club, interactive club, jet club. Then, a lot of hands-on activities that will really allow those children to engage with their hands. And you'll be surprised that during the process, you will get to understand what these children, what will catch their attention to stay back in the school. And the government also has it, especially in the government school. The government has a lot of role to play by equipping most of our schools, our government schools, with a lot of tools that will enhance our teachers to be able to put our learners through this. Some teachers actually know what to do, but when you don't have tools to work with, it's just like going to a farmer who goes to the farm and does not have tools to make to farm. So what is he or she going to work with? And then to the general society, we a lot of advocacy should be ongoing on how we can parent children and how we can help them learn. Overall, everybody should share out of the blame, because we should understand the kind of children we have and give them the right kind of education that will help them learn better.
Our parents losing faith in the value of education, most especially with the high rates of unemployment in the country.
Yes, obviously, especially with the advent of internet now. I can just be on the internet, dance, or do funny skits, and not just the parents, even the children do funny skits, and I have millions of viewers, and I'm already into reach, making huge amounts of money. Yes, there's a bit of discouragement even from the parents and the children and everybody that, okay, what's the big deal after education? What do I get? Well, okay, back in those days we used to say if you come out of first class, I bet you if we throw out an advert now and ask that we want 1,000 first class graduates, well, we'll get more than that. People have gone to school to study. Where is the job? For those that have even gotten the job, the work ethics, transport, the salary is really, really small. You are wondering, hello, what am I going to do with this? So it can be a bit discouraging. That is why our curriculum also has to be very robust, not just putting children to learn just how to go to school and start searching for white-collar jobs. We also have to engage them with a lot of hands-on activities, letting them work with their hands, and that is why I really, really go back to some of those clubs we used to have back in those days, most especially Jet Club, inventors, inventing things. I know it might not, we'll say it is not really flying. And then using of entrepreneurship skills in schools letting children understand that you can start up a business, you can save money, education, buying and selling. It is even in mathematics, doing practical examples with the children, buying and selling. These little things will plant in ideas into the children. And eventually, when they are done with school, a lot of them will not just want to wait for white-collar jobs until they can earn living. And also, I always hammer on vocational skills, and soft skills. Soft skills, most especially speaking, engagement, and the rest. So, overall, school, like these days, there's this popular saying, people will say school now scam.
Okay, I don't know if you can hear us, ma'am. Quite an interesting conversation there. I like the fact that we're talking about it holistically. When we hear out of school children, the only thing that comes to our mind is those people that are hawking on the street, that refuse to go to school, the ones that don't have money to go back to school. But I want to also portray the fact that there is school, out of school, even with children that are in school, who have been sent to school and the environment is not interesting at all for them. They just find it boring, and that's why she's talking about. We're also talking about inclusive education. Inclusive education is not just carrying everybody along, but making a robust kind of system where you have different varieties that can attract a child. If the child is not the bookworm person, he's the one that likes sports. If he's the one that doesn't like sports, he's the one that likes to talk. There's a presenting or press club for that child. You just know that in that environment you will have what you will see what you like, and that thing that you like will keep you there. But the reality of this is that we have this kind of things only in the private schools. You will not see. The government school, they are trying to bring in all these entrepreneurship courses and all of that. But is it enough? Because if you just channel, business and business and business, what about other fun activities? Because we can't make it all serious, right? So children, there's a way to get to them, and it has to be that you are giving them a variety. They say variety is the spice of life. I don't know if you're there with us, ma'am.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Okay. So I was speaking with someone recently, and maybe I start by sharing a story of a lady I recently encountered. There's this girl that came to stay with me. A very funny story. I'm sharing it here. But while she was staying with me, she's about 18, thereabouts, according to her. I don't know how true, but maybe 14, 15, 13, I don't know. But the auntie said, I want her to be with you. And then I asked, do you want to go to school? She said, no. I told the auntie, I want to send her to school. The auntie said, she doesn't have head for school, for book. I'm like, okay, how can I engage this lady? Because they say an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So I went to the tailor, a tailor close by. I said, okay, would you like to learn tailoring? She said, yes. I said, are you sure you can learn tailoring? Because I was thinking of, should I engage her with makeup? Maybe other, because I know tailoring can be a bit intense. But she was really excited and she wants to learn tailoring. So your head cannot carry book. And then after interrogating, I decided to, have faith in her, and then I enrolled her. 1 week, when I would inquire from the tailor, she said she can match the machine. She's doing well, she can match the machine. I was like, oh, this is impressive. She did all of that. She was able to catch some of the hard things. Then when it got to measurement, that is where the drama began. When it got to tailoring is about measurement. So she could match and do, but she couldn't measure. The auntie will send herself ready to measure me, and I'll be seeing numbers that are more than the tape. She's using to measure me, and at some point I just knew basic education is very important and key. So I not to tell her, I said, are you sure you need to go back to school? Because you cannot sew tailor, you cannot do except you want to be an Obioma, you just go, just go and repair people's clothes, since you can match machine. But you will think that for some people, matching the machine might be difficult, but for her, she was able to grab it. But the basics of tailoring was very difficult for her. The foundation of, you know, the basic arithmetic, basic literature. Of course, she could not write. If you, I think we write all the parts of the body, the bust, the shoulder. If you see what she will spell, just to copy and paste, you will see. You will give her the words like, can you write it out here? You would see. I feel like she invents her own letters. She used to invent
technology.
So I'll ask her. She goes, what class did you finish? She said she wrote common entrance. She was about to go to JS1.
I
said, you finish for my sis like this. Say yes. Can you spell her name? No, she cannot spell her name. What's your name? She will say her name is Precious. I spell it. She will start spelling the native name. I said, but I just knew that. I wish this was supposed to help me, but I'll use my energy to help you, because the help you give me, the one I'll give to me more than the one you can ever give to me. And I was not in that space for that. I was still trying to manage my, but you know, working with humans, if the basic education is not there, they can mess other aspects, you know, of your life up, and everything that's put in their hands. So it just, I now asked her, I said, when it comes to basic education, I mean, it starts from even as little as daycare, as little as crèche. You know, and in that space, I'm like, okay, what if even the government has facilities that, you know, helps mothers, good facilities? I mean, there are private facilities there, but what about parents that cannot afford those private facilities? Do we have government nursery school? I don't know if I've seen any. Do we have? I know it starts from primary 1 to. I don't know if I've seen nursery 1, nursery 2, nursery 3. You know, with our government setting. Not to even talk of, you know, a day class or a baby class. These are the things that in the Western world, in other climes, they take so seriously. So, Mama, I don't know if you want to add to that, you know, what I'm saying, basic education and how invested our government is to make it work.
Okay, so I was actually laughing here when you were talking about her going to the tailoring. I knew the measuring would be an issue for her. That's what we call concept. And that was why when I started that, education is very, very important, even if you are not going to make use of it later on in life. I remember my dad used to say, if you eventually want to, after school, if you eventually want to sell tomatoes, the way you arrange your tomatoes and package it will be different from someone who didn't go to school at all. You get it. You see a lot of concepts coming these days with people selling basic things, and you'll be wondering that, hello, where is this idea coming from? So it goes back to the basic, and that is why the early years is very, very important, and we've been advocating for this. You were saying that I've seen some states with nursery public schools, but it is not as strong as what we have in the private sector, because that is where the basic things, basic concepts of numbers, letters, and where they will build foundation on, because once it is shaking, it's just like, let's give a practical example of when you're building a structure and you didn't do the proper laying of foundation. Obviously, it's all going to crumble, or it will be half-baked. So we, just like we were saying, we need to go back to the drawing board. If it is going to be just primary school that we're going to have, what is the age range that we are admitting children in the government schools? What is the curriculum? What is the scheme of work that they get to learn? Yes, education age helps learners to learn fast. So if they are going to have access to basic structures of how to learn their numbers, learn their letters, how to read, like the lady that stays with you, will have been able to use her letter sounds to spell her name, you know, use her basic concepts of mathematics to do a lot of structuring. So the government, I usually say, cannot do it alone. Honestly, the private school has been helping, and especially in the areas of providing the nursery schools, daycares, and the rest, so that children will have access to learning. But we obviously also need to work on the schemes that these children get to learn in the government schools, and then the teachers. There are every day education is revolving, new theories are coming in, new ways of putting children to learn things and faster ways. And just like your co-presenter said, technology has really helped, you know, in enhancing learning. So most of those teachers, do they know how to operate use technology to teach, and for them to be able to teach the learners. So it's a whole lot of things that I know we cannot get it all at once, but once we have a laid down structure of this is what we want to do, we give ourselves a time frame. Okay, let's get this done. Not dropping everything. If we keep dropping everything, you know, I usually say that you can't even expect that you train teachers within a period of time and expect them to start running with the ideas. You know, change is a very, very difficult thing, even especially for adults. We have to give them a time frame to keep working on it, like until they get perfect with it. So education is very, very important, and most especially our future is at stake. I look at the girl child, how education has really, really empowered the girl child in having our own means of financial fund, you know, not relying on just her husband if she's married. I see how education has really, really helped our communities, our children, you know, it has really, really done a lot of things. And it will be very, very important that the government really, really work on this. And our community leaders, our religious leaders too, have to be involved in this, especially in some parts of the areas in Nigeria where they still feel the girl child should not get education. It's just,
thank you very much,
beyond what we,
thank you, ma'am.
Yes, it's even beyond where we say
thank you so much.
Empower a girl child, you empower a nation. You know, it's way beyond that. Like,
okay,
it's just a generational benefit.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that. Thank you. This is how far we can go, but I mean, it has been an insightful, engaging, educative information and segment of the show. For those who don't know, Nafisat Abdulrazak is a seasoned administrator. She's an early years educator and trainer for over a decade, with over a decade of experience shaping learning environments and empowering teachers. I mean, she's one of the best we can have on the show today. So I want to say thank you, ma'am, for coming to share your insights with us. And for viewers, I hope you have learned one or two, especially for parents, you know, watching this. We will go for a quick break now, where we return to the APC convention analysis. I want to call it that because there's a lot to get from the events that happened, you know, yesterday. But let's go for the short one and we'll return with a guest to that regard. Please stay with us.
Thank you.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
for the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On global television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust a multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
Global TV News, accurate and unbiased. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe.
All right, good morning once again and welcome to Global Morning Weekend Edition on Global Television. Yeah, as we all know, it's a place where stories come alive, ideas spark, and the moment that matter takes center stage. I am Sadia Yakubu. Together with me as usual is...
Yeah, I'm still here with Sadia.
We're here together. All right, I'll be your host. We'll be your host rather for the next few minutes. DSTV channels at 365 and Star Times channels 276. You can also watch on YouTube using at Global TV NG. On the segment of the program, we'll be talking about APC convention, of course, highlights of outcome ahead of 2027 polls. First, let's understand the topic. So, the 2026 National Convention of the All Progressives Congress, as the APC, was a major political event that set the tone for party strategy ahead of the upcoming elections. Below are the key highlights and what they mean. Talking about election and National Working Committee, as the NWC, a new National Working Committee was elected to manage party affairs. Positions included National Chairman, Secretary, Organizing Secretary, Youth Leader, etc. Why it matters and determines party direction. It shapes a candidate selection and campaign strategy. Let's talk about the emphasis on consensus leadership as well. Many positions were filled through consensus agreements rather than competitive voting. Party leaders and stakeholders played a strong role in negotiation. Application promotes unity but raises concern about internal democracy. And I'm not doing this alone. Together with me in the studio is my able and amiable guest who is fully kit. As you can see on the screen, it's not like only the person doing it. It's 2027 outcome, highlight of outcome ahead of 2027 polls. So, as usual, I have with me in the studio Dr. Oke Idawene. Sorry if I didn't pronounce the name very well. Who is currently APC Stalwart Member Media and Publicity Subcommittee of the 2026 APC National Convention. He is the DG Integrity Group of Nigeria. He has been a defender of the Renewed Hope agenda and serious advocate of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's policy, organizing summits nationwide. He is a Renewed Hope agenda ambassador. The Integrity Group of Nigeria is one of the famous group propagating the MO agenda. He is a media friendly. Nice having you in the studio, sir.
Yeah, beautiful team we have here this morning. Good morning to Nigerians. Good morning to the world.
I hope the way you're fully kicked like this,
I want to ask, I hope the tear gas will not get to you.
I will get to that. I was at the scene when it happened.
Okay.
There was a reason for that.
Okay,
I will get to that.
Okay.
Thank God it happened in my presence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. You see, you came ready.
Yeah. I'm very ready. I am the messenger. That's my name, and I say it the way it is.
Yeah.
My name is Dr. Okay Dawani.
Yeah.
The messenger.
Okay.
Send me and I'll deliver.
So you've heard now. He said he's the messenger. So let's send him on this era to see if we can really deliver. Yeah. All right. So what are the biggest highlights from the 2026 APC National Convention?
Well, you talk about biggest highlights from the theme of the convention. Nigerians early expected what would come out. And what was the theme of the convention? It is unity and progress, consolidating a renewed hope agenda. I did say here a few days ago that stabilizing the party is stabilizing Nigeria, because we are the party at the helms of our firm. We dictate what happens in Nigerian polity right now. Economic, security, vis-a-vis, everything about our livelihood. After God in Nigeria, it is government. Everywhere in the world. So after God in Nigeria, it is President Tinubu, and APC is Tinubu is APC. So the highlights cannot be overemphasized. Having seen that, unifying Nigeria for progress, ensuring the country is stabilized economically, security-wise, and seeing that we are walking into 2027 polls that we have written seamlessly to win the polls by the grace of God. So the basic thing is that for the first time in the history of Nigerian polity, a party with 31 governors was able to come out, harmonize themselves, rancor-free, and appear in the greatest event that I've on television this year. No other event will pass that for the whole of this year.
So even the Philippines event will not
please, I am not here to make comparison.
You said no
other event is the greatest event on TV. And as I speak, the town, Abuja, knew that people came.
Is it because
Nigeria knew that people came. And it's glaring that indeed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a master strategist.
Okay.
That is why Baba Obasanjo said, if you want to talk about politics, you give it to Tinubu. And sir, kudos to you for this beautiful outcome. The highlight is unity, progress, consolidating the renewed hope agenda. We saw testimonies of people that have been empowered from different youth, the woman and the man talking on the podium of how the renewed are. So it is, the highlight is just that Nigeria is more unified than before. And going to the 2020 election, it will be history by the grace of God.
Okay, I like the fact that you are a member of the National Working Committee, and it means that you're part of the planning and the organization in, a big way. So talking about the planning, a lot of journalists had their complaints. Abuja road users had their complaints. I mean, I'm sure, we had some other persons on that list, of complaints, and they spoke to the fact that there was not so much organization. Some people were saying, oh, why didn't they use the National Stadium? Why did they have to use, the Eagle Square, right? And some people also said, maybe because they're scared of their security. I mean, if they go to National Stadium, they are not guaranteed of the security. So there are speculations, around how it was an inconveniencing moment for some Nigerians, even down to the press, even to journalists that came to actually volunteer to give in their best or to, carry the information down to their their respective media houses. So the organization, for me, if I was going to rate it, you said it's one of the biggest. But I don't think
it is the biggest event, not one of the biggest.
Oh, is it the biggest?
Biggest event on air and on ground.
So if we call it the biggest event, what happened to the planning processes? Why did we have so much drama around planning and all of that?
I'm not here to give excuses, but what I'll tell you is that naturally, when you have a very big event, there must be hitches here and there. But holistically, it was a huge success. you will not take the minor, nothing is 100%. Only God that is 100%, only Allah that is 100%.
Yeah.
So, in this, when a human is in an operations, if you have 70%, it's an A. And I give this convention 80%.
But you're not the one that will rate the convention.
I am giving it, when I was in the university,
observers should rate it.
when I was in school, when I write exams, I sit down and I score myself. When I score myself, I'm telling you, when I score myself, if I'm going to get a C, I'll be angry. I'll say, no. It's C again. I want to come and say C because I knew what I wrote.
But your lecturers will not. They don't give it to mark. You
don't understand it.
In this case, we're marking it.
You don't understand it.
Yeah.
I have already written this exam, body, soul, and spirit. I have scored the convention 80%, holistically. So what is scoring down is your opinion.
No, it should matter.
But I told you when I was in the school, when I score myself, I get. So it cannot change now.
But you said when your lecturer eventually gives you a score,
it's what I get.
It makes you feel bad.
No, I said when I write and I want to get a C, I will say a C again because I wrote for a C. When I'm saying an A, I'll tell you it's an A. So when you say B, I have never made that going wrong. I don't sit in exam of 3 hours. I sit 1.5 hours. I sit in 1.5 hours. I'm done. I sit in the front seat. I don't talk to my friends in exam hall. Why? And because I am disciplined.
So we also saw that discipline in
it is what it is. You can't give what you don't have. So I give you the way it is. So in this particular occasion,
it was the
hip-hops, let me address your question now.
Okay.
For the journalists, a lot of them got in. Some complained by them. Some came to me. We wanted to see how we could handle them. But at the end of the day, they all entered. For the road users, in sociology, that's not my discipline. But it's what we call victim of progress.
Wow. All right.
So when there is progress and you are a little bit pained, discomfort, let's look forward to what the discomfort will give to you. Like in my state, the government is constructing almost every LGA there's construction. So when you are traveling, you know that there will be hold, there will be diversion, and there will be challenges. When you look at the same will be better tomorrow, that is victim of progress.
So what progress can we analyze from this convention?
The convention is that you asked me the highlights. Let me come back to that.
Okay.
I said Nigeria is more unified than before. That's a progress.
Wow.
Nigeria is being stabilized. God, the party is stabilized now. That's a progress.
Breaking news.
The moment the head is sick, the body cannot function. Now, APC is the head in governance in Nigeria, led by our father, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The moment we couldn't, if we have finished that convention in chaos, if we sneeze, Nigeria will sneeze. By now, you won't be sitting here interviewing me the outcome of the convention.
Wow.
So, the victim of progress, sorry to Nigerians, sorry to Abuja residents, we apologize, but it's not deliberate. There was an influx of people. I suffered it. I was to go and eat. I couldn't even get to the place I was going to eat. But I was excited because my party is doing a thing, and the country and the state is filled up. Abuja is filled up, telling me that indeed we are winning the next election by the grace of God.
So you said your party. So if it was not your party, how would you have felt? Because you were excited because my party.
Another party cannot do this. Because the membership, the panache, the audience, the followership, the organic followership is not there. Just some are doing, we are having some convention today, we'll have some later. Go to town. There will be no hold up because they don't have what it takes to give us a hold up on our roads. The hold up are caused by human.
So are we celebrating hold up?
Now you ask me a question. No, we're not celebrating hold up. You ask a question, don't twist it. Because you ask a question that people, road users complain. I'm not saying it was the victim of progress. You should not be offended. Progress because the party has been organized to lead Nigeria better. That's the progress. Now talking about hold up, I'm going to tell you the circumstances that led to that. And I told you that what they're going to do, they don't have the members to choke the town. If they have it, let us try it. I'm a pragmatic person. I believe in reality. I'm in town, I'm not traveling yet. I'm from Delta State. I will be here to monitor what happens so that we can analyze and see what it is. That's not my game. I challenge that they come and tell us their plans. to come and salvage Nigeria. What do we want to do differently?
I really don't expect the APC, any member of the APC to be talking like this against, the faction of the PDP that will be holding it.
It is not a faction of PDP. As I'm here, every other party is secondary. Okay. I am an APC member, body, soul, and spirit. So every other party is on the other side. We are nation builders. I will stand with my party, support his policies, see what it is to the people to know that I can get more members and win my elections.
He is only talking about his own.
Okay. I'm not here to talk about
his own party.
I'm not here to talk about any other party.
All right, after the conventions for other parties,
bring them on board
to talk.
I will be here live. Let's have a debate.
Priscilla, what we need to do is to get the APC, PDP, APC, and other party.
In fact, bring the best of the best.
So now we'll talk about the whole convention.
That's it.
So let's talk about leadership and structure. How significant is the emergence of the new National Working Committee?
Wow. From the world level, we sat down in this global TV. The managing director or the owner of the place knows what you can do, what she is better, where Sora is better, where everyone is better. A father, as I'm here, I have children. If I want a particular errand, I know who to send. If I want, I know who to send. So the consensus we did to get to this level, consensus is legitimate in the electoral acts, and there primaries or consensus for all activities right now in all political parties. Now, in getting to this level, we got seamless arrangement from the world level. At the USG level, we did the same thing. In fact, in my ward, Olumoro, where I come from, I was Delta State, Isoko South. I was away from the state when my elder in the ward called me. What is your take in it? On phone, I said A, B, C to Z, exactly his position. And we delivered. The whole issue of dragging issues, fighting ourselves. I said, hey, this is the party of unity. We go into, even when they were dissenting to an extent, later realized that we were doing the right thing. And it was, I didn't follow them to sit in a meeting. And I'm a leader, one of the leaders of my ward. And it ended seamlessly. Now we go to AGA, same thing. We go to state, same thing. We go to Zona, same thing. Today, we go to convention. Of course, you were there. There were no dissenting voices. So the arrangement was a systematic selection, diligently done to ensure that we put square pegs in square rows and round pegs in round rows. So at the end of the day, when we go to the election, 2027, like you said ahead, we should be able to hold people accountable for what they said they can do and give them the right to do it. Prove what you know. Because as I'm here now, if I'm not informed on APC, I will not be here. There are people who can sit on the camera that cannot speak and they know the information. It's also a virtue. So you know people in what they are doing at a particular time. So we picked everybody, leadership, party, all the delegates, picked the people seamlessly to achieve what we want to get. And today, all the elections we are seeing to the National Working Committee, for example, everybody did not return.
But the chairman returned.
Chairman returned, secretary returned, NPS, that's my other brother, Felix Moka returned, and the other returned. National Manager returned, Dario Israel, youth leader returned, because those people have been cleared to return where the position was zoned to the respective states. It's a local thing. Okay. So at the end of the day, they returned them. But in Enugu State, Benwoye took over as the new deputy national chairman.
Okay.
Then in Anambra State, deputy national organizing secretary did not return, Chidi. Someone else emerged from Anambra as agreed by the Anambra leaders and delegates of the party. And from Delta, I have no right to go to Anambra and say, look, Chidi is my friend, let him return. That will bring chaos. Nobody imposes anybody on anything. So it was deliberately done. Then in Jigawa, Finance Secretary did not return. Jigawa still brought in a new person to take over as Financial Secretary. There are the 3 persons that will not return in the ESCO. So it is not as if they were rubber stamped and returned. There was a state that said, look, these persons have tried, let other hands try. So state said, let it be as it is, so we can get better. Because truly, you don't change anything.
Okay, so my question is, these other persons that have not returned, we also heard, just before the convention, some aggrieved members of the party coming out to say, I was not given access to buy forms, I had my money, form was not given to me, and all of that. And people are already saying, if at the end of the day I am being jilted, if at the end of the day I am being cheated, I think I'm going to leave this APC because I have tried. So this leadership selection, the process, can we talk about the transparency, and how democratic the process was? Because if you have other members not return, on what basis? Why were they put in place in the first place? How long have they served, to be able to judge whatever it is you were judging? Yes, it's okay to say you've not given us your best so far, but where does it keep them? Were they compensated, in order not to create chaos? Because these are the things that causes chaos in party. You don't give me what I think I deserve, and I go to join forces with, another opposition party and start to fight you. So what are the measures put in place? Number one, to compensate these people. Is there a need to compensate them? If yes, what are the measures put in place? And if there's no need, what are the measures put in place, to avert any kind of chaos that it would cause to the party?
What you need to know is that APC is about to have good internal mechanism in handling their challenges. And let me start with the fact that some people say they didn't buy form. National Public Secretary was zoned to Delta State. I now wake up and want to buy form of Finance Secretary in Jigawa. Is that not wizardry? Rebellion is worse than witchcraft. I keep saying that. You know where a particular position is zoned to. And you also know that we have done our homework. We have said our elder brother Felix Moka is returning. You now go to purchase form after agreeing by the entire party. If we are 100, if we are 100 persons in party A, and 90 says Global TV should return. The other 10 is significant because already 90% have said this is where we stand. And politics is all about the people. When people speak, dissenting voices, anyone that have kicked against the zoning system, complain about the emergence of what we have now, is not a genuine member of the APC. Anybody that is the APC that is saying we didn't do it in this convention, they are most planted among us to distract us and we will fish them out. Anybody that is also saying that we didn't do well is not a member of APC. Now, talking about the dissenting voices, the majority has carried the day. And we are still telling you that nothing went wrong in the convention. However, those that were there that did not return, life is turn by turn. You have led some years, and the people say, let somebody else try. Where is the place of conversation? You are a member of the party, a leader of the party, having become the deputy national chairman South. For years you've done your job, somebody else is coming. You keep supporting the person. In the place of working, other opportunity will come for you to serve. As I'm here, I did not apply for this position. I didn't even know. I was in Delta. Hard work pays. I do advocacy, like you already said. I'm a digital group of Nigeria. Integrity group will support good governance. And we are primarily for President Tinubu and like-minded government, like our governor in Delta, for supporting what they are doing, good governance. Now, not knowing that as we're doing that state by state movement, people as well, and they called me, your name has been submitted to be among the media and publicity committee. As I do, they say, we know you. So, what are you talking about? So, hard work pays. There is a reward for every diligent worker. And that is why if you are in federal secretary before and you are removed now from Jigawa, you are not ready to grumble. You know, if you stay put and you're doing your thing, after you federal secretary, maybe next thing I want to come and run for social position, or come and do XYZ, or come and be an aide to the president, come and be an aide to your governor, and that is it. Once you are greedy, you cannot progress in life. You cannot make it. Only you cannot suck the breast milk of a mother. It's the first child you suck. They will win the child. Second one will come. They will win it. It's turn. So they finish their leadership. Other former national chairmen, and also let's say the party. Other ones, as majority are sit there, few left, but majority are with us. So you don't say because you're national chairman and you have been removed, you want to fight the party. Then you have never loved the party. Because the moment we are friends and I have issues with you and you tell me a secret I told you, then you never love me from the one. I'm just giving you an instance.
Okay, let's talk about the very first incident I raised when you came here. We talked about the tear gas incident. And the guys are interested in what happened. We saw, I don't know if I saw you in that video, but I saw some APC.
I don't really have the
camera. But you said you were there. I was thinking I saw someone like you. You know, that's me for it.
I was wearing my cap. Yes.
So what happened? Why the tear gas?
Like I said, on that day, I was a victim of progress.
Right.
Let me use that one because the progress is that the convention attracted. When I was entering, I danced with Kano contingent. The video is on air. I was dancing with them. I was saying, I will give it to you. I was saying, one Nigeria, everybody was excited. The crowd was choking. That's why I told you that no other event can beat this until the next convention we're going to have. No other thing can beat this. No party, no even individual party can get this. Nothing. This is the biggest event in Nigeria until the next one we're going to have. Now, having said so, what happened was, because of our work, we work in town. You know, as I was in Transcorp, we did a lot of things. So I got there relatively. I went earlier, came back, and I went a little bit late. And when I got there, this is the hour of about 6-7.
Okay.
If you remember, if you are aware of the tear gas, it's about 6 and 7 p.m. I was there. Me and my media aides were there. In the process of no tag, no entry.
Yes.
It was caused by indiscipline. In the process of screening people to go in, those without tags, they are all steal our phones. Thieves were not struggling to gain a chance. For us to withdraw back, retreat, and let there be a careful screening of the people, the security agents had to spray tear gas. And when we were tear gassed, I was still there. I didn't cover my nose, but I was used to it. I didn't cover my nose. When we were tear gas, the persons who are maybe asthmatic and whatever, they ran out immediately. Then the hoodlums also gave space. It was after that incident, I saw journalists talking about this tear gassing the people that want to enter the arena, blah, blah, but it was that one in the open Ministry of Health, that gate, that entrance. That was what happened. Thank God I was there. I never knew that this will come up on the media. So when the tear gas, after that incident, we waited, they now said, raise up your tag. Me with my 8 years cap and this uniform for National Convention Committee members only, I still raised up my tag. My aides and my brother raised up our tag. The security would have escorted us inside the arena. Every person now raising their tag to go in. The question is, if you're not in discipline and wickedness, what are you doing in that venue? Or you're not a delegate, you have no business there, and you're not even a member of the party.
They are supporters.
Supporters ought to behave reasonably. So they were the worst, they could be enemies and they said, come and disrupt our occasion, you can't, but they failed. So as I'm talking to you now, on that day, after that incident, everything went on seamlessly. Because now you like security, you know, security man needs to show up. At times you see them driving around Abuja, criminals, stay away, we can get you down. So the tear gas was telling you that if you misbehave, something can happen to you. But we are here for maintaining law and order. There would have been anarchy on that day or stampede if they didn't take take that immediate step. I never complained. I inhaled it, spat it away, and I went my way. Because I was a victim of progress for Nigeria, progress for ABC, and here we are. So that incident, Nigeria of the world, the tear gassing was not deliberate to scare people away. Hoodlums came and they had to maintain law and order, we drove them away. Distributing men used tear gas. I was there, this is at 7 p.m. on that day, and the whole matter was settled. Kudos to the security men on that day. Thank you for that.
I think you really need to apologize to people like us.
Those that inhaled the tear gas.
Exactly.
We are sorry. I also inhaled it. Please, but the program was a success, and in going forward, here and there, we have the documentation committee who are going to take note of everything that happens. That subsequently there's only room for improvement, but 80% short as of that.
All right, let's talk about internal democracy and credibility. To what extent did the convention uphold internal democracy?
The questions are all interwoven and intertwined. Internal democracy was on display when you heard that from the world, because convention ended just here. It started from the world. So at every stage, internal democracy mechanism was used. That's why you see that majority of us are happy today. That is why I can come to the TV to do a post briefing or interview of the convention. Internal democracy was the high point of it when everybody, leaders from the different states, picked their delegates, picked their people that were in the NWC members that were elected, and like I said, even 3 were removed, 3 were brought in. Till date, nobody is crying foul that there were issues.
I think
so. The outcome, in fact,
it's early to judge.
No, it's not early.
It's not early.
It's not early.
At least the end of the week to see.
What you will see next is primaries. General elections.
Are we about to see a wave of defections?
Wave of defection. Anybody that wants to leave APC now is not a member of APC.
So can anybody join?
I told you one word that if I am going to fight Global TV today, after being friends for years, it shows that I never loved Global TV. Because love is the ultimate. If you love the party, you have to be a loyal party man. There could be issues, 1 or 2, because human nature is very dynamic. The dynamic of human being makes it complex to manage humans. In my group, we have about 5 million members in this country today. I know what transpires here and there. At times, you have to be a fool to conquer. You have to be a wise man to conquer. So, talking about the after effect of the convention, I only expect optimal, positive, unity, progress effect.
Let's talk about the event still. We saw, a crowd of men, boys, I don't know where to classify them, sleeping on the roads of Abuja just after the event. And it has been circulating on the internet. People are saying, how do you carry people all the way from Kano, bring them here just to abandon them? Is it not supposed to be taken into cognizance even amidst the planning of the convention? Because these are supporters, as she mentioned. So how was that taken care of? Are we even sure that these people are not left homeless in Abuja, or somehow they decide to japa into Abuja? Japa is not only abroad. Some people can japa from Canada. So are we sure, or how are we sure that these people are safe at the end of the day, are well taken care of at the end of the day, and that should be part of the success, as you say, of the convention?
The truth is that this is local at the end of the day. Let me speak of Delta State. The senator of Delta South hosted Delta South leaders. The senator of Delta Central hosted Delta Central leaders. Another leaders of Delta North and our father Okowa hosted 2 Delta North persons. Now, my governor, the inspiration of why I'm here today, who gave me the platform, also was able to take care of our people from Delta. Now, if Delta contingent are happy, we're taking care of, they book flight for them to and fro, and they are relaxed. Some are still in town, grooving themselves if they are relaxed. Why would I believe a story like that opposite from other states? Why am I saying that? Because all the delegates, all the people that came from respective states, they returned to their states happy and okay. Any other dissenting voice was not part of the convention.
Interesting. So
I can tell you that provisions were made by each state for their delegates and for their followers that came. I just mentioned my state to you. I know of Edo, I know of Lagos, I know of other places. So what I can realize that if there is any dissenting voice, go and make your due diligence and come back, and you understand that truly
they were found on the premises of the convention.
Found that they can be malingering. You can malinger to that place and you're not part of us. How did we have tear gas in that day? You know, because people who were supposed to be there came to that place out of maybe having ill motive. You can't tell. You don't know about your mindset. So I want to state here that Nigerians and the world, the convention was successful. All the delegates, all the supporters from East State, Sokoto to the end, they returned home happily. Even that information concerning delegates or supporters from other states, they are not party members, are not part of the convention. That's what I say.
Alright, okay.
And I'm making both because I was at the Eagle Square. I took I danced with Kano contingent, and we even brought chicken, roasted chicken from Jigawa. I was eating locally with them. I was with Jigawa contingent, I was with Kano, I was with Sokoto, just name because I have this notion that there is one Nigeria. So I even left Southerners to frolic with Northerners.
Yeah.
At the particular time, I drank water and I gave to one Hausa guy to drink the remaining one. I said, you know what? One Nigeria. He shook me as correct.
Alright, so we're holding you, we're taking you, see, we're holding on to this word.
Yes, please. There is no other person that was stranded as part of this convention.
There was no one stranded that was part
of this convention.
I think we need to go out for a report.
Go and do your report. Those that are sleeping, you may sleeping on the street of.
Yes, Abuja.
We were giving hotels to sleep.
But we had some.
My governor, the chairman of entertainment and welfare, ordered to in charge of accommodation, a member of opportunity group, a member of accommodation, and everybody got accommodation. Some of us leaders didn't pay for our accommodation, but telling you that nobody was on the street. No one on the street needs to be arrested for even trespassing.
Okay, all right. Well, let's talk about strategy ahead of 2026 or 2027 polls. How do the convention outcomes position APC for upcoming elections?
Nigerians and the world, the Unity Convention has stabilized the party to win the 2027 election in the landslide victory. How did I say this? Because a house that is at peace, that is there is strength in unity, that is unified together. If you bring a broomstick, you can break it. But if you bring an entire broom, even Mike Tyson cannot break it. So what we have there is a broom. Thank God our logo is a broom. It's right here. I wore this cloth deliberately because it's in the convention fever, convention season. And when they said comes, I said, no, hey, bring that cloth, let me put it on. So that I will showcase
Talking about chicken you ate, let me take us back a bit. You didn't bring any for me and Priscilla, at least to show one love and
that chicken was my dinner of that day because I had to eat it to sustain myself. People brought it was for sale.
Yeah.
Somebody fried it for Jigawa. You are from the north, right? Yes. There was this local chicken that was fried. I've not eaten it before. When I saw it, I said no matter what it is, I will eat it because I didn't put too much sugar. I eat chicken masala, I eat anything. I said the Kaduna. So I love every part of the country. I'm a pan Nigerian. So when you say I used to eat it, it's tasteless in my mouth, but I eat it with joy. Just for the love of the country. Now talking about 2027. With the unity, the stability, and the renewed hope agenda, the president and the party chose reforms, long-term reforms, instead of short-term applause. We chose the future of Nigeria designed systematically instead of doing cut and nail arrangement. We avoided cosmetic measures. Cosmetic is when a woman is ugly, she buys cosmetic, and cover up the patches.
Wait.
In the morning.
So do you mean we are all because you're all using cosmetics?
No, you are using light makeup.
Well, so you're talking about
a beautiful woman does not use heavy makeup.
Okay.
It touches it and she goes. So in the Nigerian system, what we had before now, you see that this place is rotting. You buy things to cover it, paint the artwork, make it beautiful. And Nigerians are clapping, you have done well. Meanwhile, the innermost part is rotting. That will plunge us into problems tomorrow. So to this end, you now see that the what Tinubu did, he didn't do that. President Tinubu came and packed the debris, filter it, and tried to rebrand it. So this rebranding process is beautiful. Now we have seen that there is so much money in the states. HHMN have direct allocation now to work. You can call HHMN and what have you done with this month's allocation, because it is no longer coming through the states to you, it's from federal account to you. These are what Tinubu did. Tinubu is tactically giving us through federal system technically. He has gotten 6 geopolitical development commission. Northeast, northwest, north central, southeast, southeast. It's never been done before. That every geopolitical zone has their development commission with money allocated to the commission to do development in your region and my region. Where have you had it before? Let me ask a question. So I'm trying to pretend why 2027 will be easy for us. It's the policies. It's not enough for me to come here and shout APC without telling you the blueprint of what the government is doing and what we intend to achieve. For the first time, your brother can go to school, cannot pay the school fee, he can apply for loan and will go to school. My brother's son will go to school on the student loan and fund. Then, for the first time, corporates can access loans to do business and self-employed without coming to borrow money or looking for money. For the first time, we can travel at night now in Nigeria.
Wow.
Yes.
I didn't know that. When was the last time you traveled?
I traveled at night 2 weeks ago. Yesterday, at about 5 p.m., my media aide left Abuja. He's in Warri as we speak.
You traveled on road?
Yes.
Road or
he did. He traveled by road.
You mentioned.
I said my media aide went by road. He said he wants to attend the church service today. The friend got wedded and today is Thanksgiving. He didn't come for the wedding.
When did you travel by road?
2 weeks ago. At night.
You traveled to Delta?
I go. No, I do this to everybody. So when I want to appear on TV, I speak what I know. Between Lokoja, between Abuja to Okpela.
How many escorts? How many police escorts did you?
None. You ask a question. Okay. Between Abuja to Okpela, especially that Okile-Okpela, that's more dangerous. Every day, every 1 kilometer, there are soldiers, not police. Since Tinubu became president, that thing happened.
But we still have cases of kidnaps.
Let me tell you one thing. Even in America, there is still security challenge. There are flashes of security here and there. You can't stop challenges. You can only minimize challenges. Now, it can be minimized. It cannot be minimized. I cannot tell you that if you want me to put him on call, I put him on call for me, and I do him like this black and white. Have you the way you talk to yesterday, when you come from Abuja to Warri, you will be shocked.
Every day, when you look at the national dailies, you see situations of kidnaps, killings. There's practically no day you pick up.
The only thing and
you're not seeing these people have been killed in this state. These people have been killed in this state every single day. And you're talking about Nel Fund. I like the fact that APC chieftains and members always want to come out to say Tinubu has done. I applaud President Tinubu for whatever he has done. But I think that one thing is lacking in Nigeria, and it's the ability for the president to call the people that he has appointed to work to, really do the work that he has assigned and empowered them to do. He's only someone that is able to pay his school fees through primary, secondary education that can access Nel Fund in the university. He's someone that can finish university. If he's someone that can finish university and go to NYSC that can afford NYSC loans that are given to NYSC members. So these things a bit are still for the privileged. Let's look for solutions that would, cater to the grassroots.
Talking about grassroots,
we're having fuel crisis right now. What happens to the transportation sector saying, oh, we can provide, buses, CNG buses that would reduce the cost, cut it by half. I come out from my street, I see that there's a bus and I don't have to pay the outrageous fee I have to pay. You don't need to complain to me to go to the president.
It is still
grassroots is what we're talking about. We're not talking about.
Now, read your points now.
Okay, please go ahead.
You are interviewing me.
Yes, no, I want to finish. I want to finish what I said. Respond to it.
Talking about emergency situation. The Iran, Israel, and US war was never planned by you and I.
Okay.
Nobody envisaged it.
Yes.
So the fuel thing, that was used that it's our fault.
No.
It is a global effect. Now there are plans on ground to alleviate the situation if it lingers on. Leave that.
If it lingers
on, because already ceasefire. They already fight the ceasefire.
Okay.
And the fuel, the crude oil price will definitely stabilize and come down so that we can go back to where we used to go.
So if
last year, it will happen. If it doesn't happen, I think there are mechanisms on ground to alleviate, to augment the situation. Now talking about the less privileged ones, the New Hope Initiative has social scheme programs.
That is,
we empower the poor for businesses.
Those with privileged information.
Yes, I gave to my people in my community.
Your people.
My community people who are not even part of APC.
It has to come from you.
No,
not privileged.
They make it open. Leaders kind of administer it. You cannot throw it to the streets.
Of course.
The leader will have to administer it. For the first time in my life, in governance or in politics, and I was able to call 5-10 persons to say this is from the presidency. Through the governor's wife in our place, we give them. In our state, we do empowerment programs. They have scholarship scheme. They have both for graduates, postgraduates, and what have you. We also have measures for the less privileged. So when Okonjo-Iweala came to see the president, not quite late last year, she advised that we should increase the social scheme because we already have social scheme. Are you getting it now? Increase means that we already have some in place. And she commended the president for coming up with such a project. So these are the things that will make people want to vote the APC again. Now, also, major security. The roads are being rehabilitated. Kivimai is doing a great work. FCT is changing because of Wike working under the president. Now you mentioned the president should call his ministers in order to work. When you have a child, when you have children at home, will you go and ask your school them inside?
No, you don't have to.
So you think that the president is not looking for, not talking to them to
we keep hearing that the president is not responsible for anything. That means
no, I cannot say president in my house. I'm responsible. In Nigeria, our father is, we have if anything goes wrong. I'm a politician that talks to the left and the right hand man. So he won't play perpetuity too. So he must account for everything happening in Nigeria. So anybody that is not doing well, the president always talks to them, but you cannot see it on the press. It will be inner situation. That one is diligent enough. He's giving all to Nigeria. I will respect him. It's a building process, a work in progress. Expect goodies from the APC government, and Tinubu will not fail you and I. Remember, we don't win the winning team. We don't change the winning team.
All right, so because of time, I really love that continue with this whole stuff, but then I think we're going to come back for we'll come back again and then we'll talk about this particular issue. We need to the education sector, the transportation sector, and everything.
The health sector, education, there's like in Delta, we have 3 universities all around by the state government. We are only there because we have so much money from the federal now. My governor said going to the APC has yielded more results than expected. He spoke to the press yesterday, or rather that's yesterday or Wednesday night, and he said right now we have more money to work in our state. Our state is a constitutional side, and I expect every governor to do the same thing. Delta is leading by example.
Indeed, you're a messenger. That's all I can say.
So he stated it earlier. He said he is a messenger. So I think
with a good message.
Well, that's the wrap up.
No, but when you asked me about the president's responsibility, I told you yes.
Yes, I like that.
There's no excuse for that. If he failed, he failed. If he win, he won. So right now that he's a winner, I will keep winning.
Don't you think you're failing in some aspects?
We have 70% is an A. But please let Nigerians support this government. It didn't come to rush and you applaud short-term. It's a long-term thing that particularly when we are out of the woods. He met this country as a patient that was sick. He diagnosed his illness. He's not treating the illness until leaving the theater for operation. You cannot judge the person. But the person is already raising his finger that I'm alive. Let's go. Nigeria is already alive and we are moving. Nigeria will get better. He is a new father. I will love him.
All right, thank you so much. We'll wrap up the program. I want to thank you sincerely, Dr. K. Idawene, right?
Dr. K. Idawene. The messenger.
Okay, the
message.
Thank you for being part of the program this morning, the Global Morning Weekend Edition. The APC 2026 convention was largely about stability, unity, and declaration, as you said. And while it successfully produced leadership and strengthened party structure, it also raised important questions about internal democracy and inclusiveness, which you have helped us to answer to a large extent. So we hope the conversations and stories we shared to our viewers inspired you and gave you something to think about, especially as you prepare for 2027. And if you missed any part of the show, please catch it up on our YouTube channel at Global TV NG. We also want to remind you that the views of all our guests are entirely theirs. Global Television does not contribute to it. Thank you so much, viewers. Thank you, of course, Sadia. Everyone.
Remember that Nigeria is stabilized. IEC is stabilized.
For being part of the program. Join us again next time for more insights, more voices, and more stories. I remain your host, Priscilla Obasi.
Before we go, well, we'll try and get the PDP, APC, ADC, and of course you APC.
I am ready.
Let them
tell us what they have to offer Nigeria.
I am your host, Priscilla Obasi, and I'm here with
Sadia Yakubu. On behalf of the entire production team, thank you for watching. Until next time, stay safe, stay focused, and bye for now.